brought in the Benjamin Moore line of paint to add to their paint collection. Stop in today and visit them at Westside Decorating Center. Good morning to you on a Wednesday morning midweek. Nice to have you with us. Later on after the 10 o'clock news, we're going to learn about a fashion show, if you will, that happens in Midland, Northwood University. At 11 o'clock this morning, Trapani Communications will be the subject of focus. We'll have open phones as time permits. But we're going to start this hour talking about something which is going into its 24th annual presentation. It is a living passion drama put on by St. Michael's Lutheran Church in Richville. To talk about it with us this morning, a member of the committee, we say good morning to Doug Dowd. Doug, good morning.
Good morning, Art.
How long have you been involved with the passion drama?
I've been involved since it began.
24 years,
yes.
Huh? You getting the hang of it?
Pretty much. I've played a lot of roles over the years in it, and did some musical performances in it, and there's been quite a few of us that are the long-term participants.
What made the church start that? 24 years ago, I mean, somebody pull it out of a hat and say, let's do the passion drama? I mean, it's well known. But.
Right. No, actually, it started as part of our 150th anniversary of the church.
Oh.
And that we did all kinds of different celebrations throughout the year, and this was one that came to the table, and that's what
Anybody expect it to stick?
It went over so well the first time that they said, well, let's try it again. And it's been very successful over the years. So,
but it's labor intensive for a lot of people, isn't it?
It is.
It takes how many people to put on a passion drama?
Well over 100 people are involved with it right now, and it's indoors. We used to have it outdoors, where we would walk through a park and you would approach the scene and the actors would present it, and that took a lot more people. It took twice as many actors. It took a whole crew to set up 2-3 weeks in advance to get all the props out, get all the we used to lay down a path. We eventually cemented that, so it made it a lot easier, and it was easier for people to travel through it.
So how do you do it now? Because you got all these scenes, I assume, in the sanctuary, right?
That's correct.
So, how do you is it done like a stage play now and the scenes change, or how do you do it?
Yes, there's
or
three
is it
different,
just a manger?
No. There's 3 different areas that we use in the church, and a scene will be performed in one of them, and then the lights will go dark, and then we have a musical interlude while the prop crew rearranges, resets.
Okay. The audience doesn't have to move.
No, they're sitting in the pews, watching the performance as it goes on.
How many performances do you do for all that work?
Well, there's 5 scheduled for this coming weekend. We have 2 on Friday and 3 on Saturday.
How long do they take?
About an hour and a half.
So give us an overview of the passion drama.
Sure. So I
would tell you not to give away the ending, but I think we all know it. So
it's a happy ending. This year we've actually added a scene at the beginning of the drama, the Lord's Supper, where we have Jesus with his disciples and the breaking of the bread and the wine. And then it goes into Jesus travels to... Whoop, I just did something.
Oh, what'd you do?
I don't know. I lost this here.
Okay. Just pull that little plug, the one that's plugged in front of you there. Just move it in and out a little bit. There you go.
All right. So then Jesus goes to Gethsemane. No, the garden. Excuse me. Goes to the garden, and then the soldiers come and take him away. He goes before Caiaphas in the next scene, and there's people yelling and screaming and crucify him. And then we switch to the scene where Peter is in the courtyard, and he denies Jesus 3 times. The next scene, Judas is dealing with the guilt of betrayal, and he hangs himself. And then Jesus is taken before Pilate, and he's whipped and scourged, eventually nailed to the cross. And then in the final scenes, he is crucified on the cross. And that's where we used to end it. But we decided to make the story...
The story continues.
The story continued. We used to finish it on Easter morning, but now we've included it in the drama itself. So we go to the grave, we find the empty tomb, the ladies come with their spices to anoint the body, and they can't,
So this is the Passion Play Plus.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and so
And it literally is done all over the world.
right. So we still are going to use the Easter morning for our sunrise service at 6:30 in the morning, and we will have our actors there to do the last two scenes with the open grave.
You're not doing the whole thing. That's just part of that service, right?
Correct, just the Easter portion of it.
Okay, so what time are the performances?
They are Friday at 6 o'clock and 7:30, and then Saturday 4:30, 6 o'clock, and 7:30.
No rest for the actors on Saturday.
No, we do take care of them. We do provide meals for them, so they can go down into our basement area and have a meal.
It takes 100 people to put it on. How many are actually in the production? Would you guess, roundly?
At least 80 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have huge
Crowds.
the crowd.
Yeah.
And we have soldiers. There's a few key roles. Excuse me. And then we also have, like myself, and I have some other vocalists that are in the balcony. And then when the scenes go dark is when we perform a song that relates to the scene itself. And so we have an accompanist and all that as well.
So how do you audition for Jesus?
You don't really have to audition. We do look for someone in the same age group as Jesus was, so in the mid-30s to do that performance. But no, there's no really an audition for it.
And do you have people that have been in this thing for 24 years?
Oh, yeah.
Like yourself?
Yep. Our actor that plays Pilate right now, he's been in it for 25 years, the full years, 24 years. We've had quite a few that have been in it, and they can pretty much recite it from memory. So they've done it enough. Because like I say, when it was outside, you did your scene probably about 20 times in the night.
Because it was continuous.
Yeah, the groups kept coming through.
So, how much rehearsal time is there? I mean, how many times do you actually rehearse the whole thing before you put it on?
We spent last Sunday afternoon rehearsing all of it because every now and again you have a new actor and you have to make sure that they're familiar with everything. And there's another rehearsal this evening after our Lenten service to fine-tune some areas. But then pretty much, the first show, everybody's a little nervous, a little rusty. But by the time Saturday rolls around, they've got it down pat. Yeah.
And any cost to the observer?
No, we do take a free will offering at the end just to help with supplies that we have to each year repurchase. So there's no cost. There's no tickets. We have a very large sanctuary and lots of room for everybody to come.
How many people can you seat in there?
Oh, I'm going to say we can fit 600. Yeah.
Fair crowd.
Yeah.
Fair crowd.
It's a big church.
All right, I'm going to take a break. We'll come back. We're talking to Doug Dowd, and he is with St. Michael's Lutheran Church in Richville. He's a member of the Passion Drama Committee and one of the performers. We'll be back with more after these notes.
Join us for Our Kids.
People with any type of credit get up to $5,000 and cash can hit our bank account.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show on this Wednesday morning, talking to Doug Dowd, a member of the Passion Drama Committee at St. Michael's Lutheran Church of Richville. And he's also a cast member. The Passion Drama, of course, about the last hours on earth of Jesus. Let's talk about location of the church, just so I don't forget, so
Sure.
everybody knows where it's located if they'd like to come.
Yep. Well, we're in Richville, and Richville consists of the intersection of M15 and M46. And so if you are out here by the next tier and you head east 11 miles, there we are. And the church sits on the 46. It'll sit on the north side of the road. You can't miss it. It stands right out.
It's on the west side of the intersection, right? It's this side of the intersection.
Yes,
Yeah.
1546, yeah.
Yep. So let me ask you this, and I know you're not on the pastoral staff, but religion in America has been taking a hit in polls lately where people have been not coming. Belief in a God seems to be less. How is the attendance at St. Michael's? Would you call it steady? What would you call it?
It's declined some over the years, but we still have our regulars that are attending regularly. We have a Wednesday night service as well, and then our Sunday morning ones. And we're just now, this past week, they're set up so that we can live stream our services so that folks can watch if they're homebound or
Propelled into the 21st century.
yeah. So if maybe they're on vacation and they still want to see what's going on, hear the sermon and service, they can still tune in to us that way.
And do you get a decent crowd at the services?
We do. We average about 300 on a Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, that's reasonable compared to what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. We also have a day school and a daycare center, so we tend to pull in some younger families that way. They get involved with the school and the child care center, and then
You almost in this day and age have to have that because that's the future of the church.
right.
Without that, doesn't speak well.
When we started, it was just 1st through 8th, and then they added kindergarten, and then we added a preschool, and we kept going farther,
Well,
closer to.
but you met the demand, right? I
We
mean,
did.
obviously that's the key to it.
Right. Yep.
And how long have you been at that church?
I'm a lifer.
Oh, are you really? Are you from Richville? Is that where you were
Yes.
born and raised?
Yep. Just outside of Richville, and now I live a stone's throw from the church. I can see the church through my windows, so
You
real
look out
close.
every morning and say, "Yep, it's still there."
It's still there. I walk to church most of the time, so yeah.
And what drew you to want to be in the Passion drama?
Well, the first committee members that chaired it were Glenn and Leona Dowd. Yes, that's the same last
sounds
name.
like the same last name. Sounds like you didn't have much of a choice.
And so I had a choice, so that initiated it. And the current chair, there's 2 co-chairs. There is Joshua Dowd. Yes, that's a relative, and Dwayne Weiss Jr. And
Oh, how did he get in this?
they're best buds, and they actually, we were looking for a new chair. My parents are up there in years, and so Dwayne wanted to keep it going, and his best friend is my son, so he convinced my son to co-chair it with him, and so they've taken it over, and they do all the behind the scenes work. They get everybody organized, and they're doing a great job at it.
So, if you have a production, it takes 100 people to put it on, 80 of whom might be on stage or acting in it. How long does it take to get everything ready for that? How much prep is there from the time the last one ends? When do they start working on the next one?
We sort of take a break in there. They typically will be at the Living Nativity in Frankentros during December, and we have to have our dates and everything scheduled for that, and we promote it as people finish there. They come into their gymnasium, and we have some cast there that are promoting, and they're in costume.
When do you start arranging the cast? When do you start pulling cast in for the production?
We've been doing it, right
Or is it year-round?
No, about Ash Wednesday we start putting it in the bulletins. We get up in front of the congregation and speak and talk and try to get the interest that we need. We just finally got our last actor to play Jesus here a week ago.
Wait, you just got Jesus a week ago?
There's more than one, but this last one, because we had
There's more than one during the run?
yeah, actually we have to have 2 actors play Jesus, because one of them is in the first few scenes, and then the other one's all, shall we say, bloodied up.
Right. Okay.
So can't change
So
the
you
makeup.
really have 2.
Yes, there's 2
They
for
look
the evening.
closely alike? Or?
You're not going to notice it.
Not with all the blood and everything. Huh?
That's right.
That is interesting. And so when these folks commit to this, it's a commitment, isn't it?
It is. We do rely on them to be there, especially those with the lead characters, because there are lines they have to memorize and actions they have to do. So, yeah, we really, when they say, yes, I'll do it, we rely on them to be there.
It's not audience participation.
No.
None whatsoever. This is like going to the theater and watching the drama.
That's correct.
And it literally is done all over the world, isn't it?
I would think so, yeah.
Did you folks have any hesitation writing parts that are not original to it? You say you do more up front and more at the end. Any problems with that?
We started it out. We do quote the scriptures. Everything is biblically correct. we have our pastor look over the new script that we added, and we had him approve it and make sure that it matched the Gospels. And so we don't take any liberty in it. It's
From the story, you don't take any liberty.
correct. Yeah.
But you take some liberty from the original Passion drama by adding to it front and back, right?
Well-
I mean, you've added to it historically,
Yeah.
but
Just
it's
this
not part of the
year.
original.
I don't recall where the original script that we got was from, so I don't know.
Do we
don't
have
know.
any idea when it was first done, where it was first done in the world?
I
I'm
don't.
betting Germany, but I don't know for sure. It'd be my guess.
Yeah, I could be. Yeah.
Be my guess. But it's certainly something that's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's remind everybody again, it's the 24th annual Living Passion Drama. Give everybody the dates and the times.
Sure. It's April 11th, and that's Friday, and then times are 6 o'clock and 7:30. And then Saturday, April 12th, they are 4:30, 6 o'clock, and 7:30.
No reservations needed. Just
Nope.
show up, huh?
Just come on in. Yep.
Well, Doug, listen, I appreciate you coming in this morning and telling us about it, and wish you well. Hope you get a big turnout.
Thank you for having me.
You betcha. Thanks a lot. Doug Dowd, member of the Passion Drama Committee at St. Michael's Lutheran Church in Richville. We will be back with open phones for the remainder of the hour.
Save big money and build a deck.
They're released.
Oh, well, I thought you had it in with him. I know when you talked to him, he was just bubbling that time. You thought that was really cool. I still remember that.
Well, I treat everybody that way, though. It's not just him. But
Well.
I think that
Almost.
I think that I don't know if he'll release them this time or not. I mean, he hasn't released them before, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, but don't you have to? Aren't they supposed to? Or don't that apply to
I
him?
don't know that there's a law that requires it. I think it's
Well,
been
check into
it's
it
been
maybe sometime when you
tradition.
get bored.
It's been tradition, but I don't know that there's an actual
Yeah,
law that
and how much
requires it.
usually, and how much they donate to charity and
Oh yeah,
different
yeah,
things.
Yeah. Well, I'd be interesting. I'm on your side. I'd like to see it.
Well, me too, because I had to pay this year and it hurt my
Me too.
feelings.
Me too. I can tell you what happened to me. Of course, my wife passed away 2 years ago in January, and that year, 23, I was still able to file as married. But 24, I was single, and I forgot that category is going to change my position. So I
That's
am
what happened
now.
to me too.
I am now paying a hefty price for forgetting. Let's put it that way.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
so
but that's
I-
what happened. Mine, there was two, and now there's only one. So they hit you that way.
Yeah, they do. I tell you what. So I have to make adjustments in my withholding.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's
Well, it's a
I
price of
would
being
like
in
to see
America.
them. I would like to see them. Of all the tax talk and all of that, the one thing I would like to see is they stop taxing Social Security. That would be a big help.
Yeah, but I bet they make a lot of money on it.
Unfortunately, it's they give it to you and then they take it back from you. Yeah, they make a lot.
It's only money.
It's all right, Carol.
It's only money.
You tell yourself that when you go to the grocery store, it's only money.
I know, but I'd like to eat.
Well, yeah, so do I.
And I don't go very often, and we try and patronize. We got a couple little stores, but my kid, he stops and picks up burger, and it's like $8 for enough to make us, like burger for supper.
Yeah.
So you feel for the restaurants. I really, really do.
I do,
It's got to
too.
be between a rock and a hard place. And we've never ate out because it's just not handy, and the grease makes me sick, and So, but I really do. It must be very difficult for 'em.
It's interesting. Since I've been a widower, I find myself eating out a lot more because it's difficult to cook for one.
It is.
So I don't cook nearly as much as I used to. I still enjoy it. Once in a while I'll do it. I'll get the bug and do some of the things I like to make. But I just find myself spending a lot more time at restaurants.
It's quicker. Well, but you can, make a bigger thing and freeze portions too. That works pretty good sometimes.
You are right about that. And there are some things my wife used to do that way, and I'm going to do some of them, put them away, freeze them in containers, and then I have portions.
then you got to find them, remember where they are.
So, you have to readjust your life to different lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, it is, but it goes on, and there's a lot of things to enjoy yet.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The wind and the box elder bugs and the cold.
Take the box elder bugs out. Okay.
Enjoy.
Thanks, Carol.
Nice talking at you.
Same here. Bye-bye. And let's talk to Larry in Spalding Township. Larry, good morning.
Morning, Art.
Morning.
Hey, I'm just calling in. I want to see if you know any history about this. Recently down on Genesee and Washington, on the corner, there's a building. It looks like they're starting to maybe tear it down, and it's got WSGW up on above that.
Well, here's the history.
History of that building?
Yeah, that's the Mason building. It used to be the Mason building. WSGW was housed there from its inception in the 50s up through about 1973. When this structure that I'm sitting in now was built, and that was where WSGW was housed. Now that sign, that WSGW sign on the Genesee side of the building, was recently, as I understand it, uncovered when they were doing some repairs on the building. There used to be a painted sign on the Washington side, which is no longer there. But that building has been there a long time, and SGW was a part of that building for probably 21 years, 22 years maybe. And I never worked in there because this building was open when I came in 1974. I think Terry Henney may have spent a little bit of time in that building, but that would be he would be the only one around here now.
It's just interesting. I like history of downtown Saginaw, all of Saginaw.
That building
you would be the man.
That building has had some history of ownership and everything. And at one time, up until a few years ago, I believe that the basement of that building was totally flooded. And everybody wondered if that building was going to survive. But it's still there, and I don't know if it's been sold or if they have a purpose for it or what. But all of a sudden, that sign appeared because they had done some work. So and it's amazing how many people have seen it. I get comments about it all the time.
Well, I figured I'd give you a call because I figured you would know, and I appreciate your knowledge on it, sharing that.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. Appreciate it, Larry. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. That was the days when the radio station was right down in the heart of things, downtown Saginaw, where Genesee and Washington, the Mason building. Let me take a moment to talk about Quick Lane Freeland, right next to my car dealer, McDonald Ford. And I say my car dealer because they are. It's where I get my cars. Quick Lane Freeland is where I get my service. They're a one-stop shop for all of your routine service. Oil changes, brakes, tires, batteries, and they work on all makes and models of cars, not just Fords. They work on Fords, but they work on Chevys, Toyota, Honda, Jeep, Dodge, you name it. They work on it to keep your car or truck in good shape, tip-top shape. And speaking of tires, as we have been doing for quite some time now, they are selling tires at just $5 over cost. Brand names like Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, you know these names. And not only are they selling them at $5 over cost, but in some cases you can get an additional $60 to $100 in rebates. There is extra for installation, including balancing and lifetime tire repairs. You can enjoy their customer lounge with internet, free ice cream bars waiting for you at Quick Lane Freeland, right next to McDonald Ford. Stop in today. You'll be glad you did.
What if you're limited inventory?
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and we'll say good morning to Scott in Saginaw. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, morning, Art. I just wanted to hit this real quick. Yesterday, you had a caller who was very upset that these tariffs may cause new businesses to have to come back to America, and then it's going to cost money to put the buildings there, and then they got to retool them and get workers. So this caller was just really distraught about it. But I remembered about 6 or 9 months ago, that very same caller called your show and was saying what a wonderful idea Governor Whitmer had putting in the Chinese battery plant.
Yeah.
That's what That's what I'm saying about these Democrats. They're just oppositional hate. They don't stand for anything except to hate. And I can't get off that, Art. To me, that's a sickness.
Yeah, I hear you. You've said it before. I understand that. But I view it a little bit differently. I don't agree with them, but they got a right to their opinion, just like everybody else. And that's
you have a right to an opinion, but when you flip flop, do you really have an opinion?
well, yeah. You have a right to flip flop. You have a right to flip flop. You have a right to do it in this country.
I didn't say you didn't. I said, but do you really have an opinion?
Yeah.
If you're flip flopping.
Yeah, your opinion is the flip flop. Yeah, it's your opinion. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, and but let's face it. How many politicians on both sides flip flop? We hear that all the time. I mean, that's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. But in the what was the other thing? There were quotes from Schumer from years ago about how wonderful tariffs are. Nancy Pelosi, how wonderful tariffs are. Where are those comments today? We don't hear them because why not? Because it's Trump,
Yeah.
So I mean that's the nature of the beast.
It's just too bad. It's just oppositional hate, and it's too bad. They just did a poll here where they're showing people who identify left of center that 55% of people who identify left of center think it's okay to murder Donald Trump, and I think it was 48% of them said it was okay to murder Elon Musk.
Yeah, I saw
that's
that.
Left of center. Well, that's the art. That's a sickness. When you think murder is the answer, that's what the Democrat Party is becoming.
Yeah,
They're becoming a party of murder and just pure.
Now you get carried away, Scott. I understand you're passionate about it, but I'm sorry. I know I have too many friends that are Democrats, and none of them profess murder. So
I said the party is becoming, Phil. I didn't say the people. I said the party is becoming.
Well, what is the party if not people?
Well, there you go.
So,
well, you said it. I mean, we're watching how this Democratic Party is supporting the illegals over Americans. We're watching how this Democratic Party is supporting men and women's sports. That's a sickness, Art. Yeah. That is disgusting.
Well, all right. Good enough.
All right, Art, I'll talk to you.
Good enough, Scott. Thanks. I just, hate speech leads to more hate speech. And so I just don't get involved in that. I have many friends who disagree with me politically, but we're good friends. And I don't think about any of them negatively simply because they don't agree with me. It's one of the problems we have today. And I've said this before, we have forgotten how to disagree but still be friends. Within my life circle, I have, in particular, two very close friends who are dyed-in-the-wool Democrats. And on the major issues, we have great disagreement. But when you sit down with them and you talk to them, and we're able to do that as friends, you don't come in as enemies, you start as a friend, you begin to understand there are a lot of things we agree on. Basic life issues. But if I didn't sit down and talk to him, I never would have known that. I can remember many years ago, he's going to have to remain nameless, but he had a high position in the Democratic Party. And we went to lunch. And we sat at that lunch talking about our views on things. And we were as far apart as you could be on major issues. Yet for the majority of the conversation, we agreed on this, we agreed on that, we agreed on other things. Wouldn't have known that if we didn't sit down and talk to each other. It's what's missing today. Part of the reason is the way we communicate today. And let's start with social media. The bane and the boon of society. It has wonderful purpose and not so wonderful purpose. It has been misused, abused, used to start false rumors, used to incite groups, you name it.